So everything I'm about to say in this video is so controversial that it's going to get a lot of backlash. Now, a lot of people may agree or disagree, but I want to make this disclaimer that everything I'm saying in this particular video is for wink, wink, entertainment purposes only. Wink, wink. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. Everything that I'm saying is my opinion. I'm not saying that this is completely based on the reality of what we may or may not see or what has or hasn't happened. I've made a video, and you can check this out. I've warned people that in this next couple of weeks that you've got to be very cautious with regards to the information war and what comes out, because a lot of people will be taking stances. They'll give opinions. They'll assert certain things. It may or may not be true, but I don't want to say that we should completely discount it. And so a lot of what's going on specifically with the Israeli side, with the Palestinian side, with the other Middle Eastern nations, the US response, Russia's response, many other nations are coming out, and you're getting more and more quote unquote facts and footages that are being released by the day. And so right now, of course, it's at the time of this video, it's a standoff, or in some sense, a lot of troops, 300 reserve troops, as well as the Israeli army is apparently lining up, and a potential ground invasion may be imminent. Now, I want to talk about a couple of things. I've said this before, but this is a bigger issue than the war we're seeing between, if you want to say, the Palestinians or the Hamas or the people in the Gaza Strip versus the Israelis, if you want to call them Zionists, if you want to call them whatever it is that you want to put pitting against each other. It's not about that. The people that are awake, they're seeing the bigger picture, which is that there's a more sinister agenda going on with regards to the elites, the rich getting richer, funding of wars, the prompting of World War III, whatever it is that is going on with regards to flushing people out. Q talking about Israel will be saved for last. And also what's happening with regards to not looking at things in a monolithic way, not looking at something as Israel, and I've said this in the last video, Israel being completely this, or Hamas and Palestinians being completely that, but rather, who is at fault here? There are good people, there are bad people. There are people that are even warriors in Christ, fighting, maybe I would argue, or in the presence of these two nations. And so all of this one-dimensional, right, simplistic, linear point of view is not going to get you anywhere, given the complexity of the layers that is beyond this. And so let me go with this first one, right? So a lot of reports are coming out, and I'm quoting a little bit of this person, Matt Wallace, that's posted, but saying this sounds way too evil to be true. But some reports suggesting that the Israeli government may have allowed Hamas to penetrate their extremely advanced security apparatus in order to use that as justification to take Gaza. And of course, how, these barbarians basically crossing and doing their acts, right? To the extent that, we're still figuring out right now, allowing them to cross the most fortified border on earth. Why did it take so long for them to be met with force in such a small land, in the sense of you can mobilize people quickly? And yes, people are going to talk about the holidays. Yes, people are going to talk about just other things, security systems down, and other things. But how is that even possible with regards to intelligence agencies, Mossad, CIA, many other governments not giving a forewarning? And so the most advanced anti-air system in the world, arguably, the Israeli Iron Dome, how could it not have spotted the attack that's coming? And history has told us that when there are down times like holidays, they actually amplify more of the defenses, so that when people are on holiday or doing whatever, that there would be even more scrutiny to a potential attack. And so there's many questions, right? More questions than answers, and people are starting to question everything. They're starting to use their minds and not be instigated, right? A lot of people that have a one-dimensional point of view, and if I could say quite stupidly, people are looking at it saying, oh my gosh, we need to go to war, take them down, kill them all, and doing this sort of mobilization, a war chant of sorts to get revenge and vindication and all this stuff. But realize that this is how they get you. This is how they get you to do anything. They create a problem, they propose a solution, and then they get you on board and say, hey, we need to solve this problem that they created in order for you to get on board. And it would be the easiest way for anyone to justify going to do something. And in this case, taking Gaza, potentially. And so all of this, with the planning, with all of this that has happened, why is it that there are people that were in delay, that didn't know about it, that are speaking in a sense gibberish because they're kind of caught with their tongue, right, twisted? And so a lot of these governments, these people, these leaders are coming out and outright, even there's some videos that I've seen also purporting that they've had insider knowledge or they've at least worked within the government. Specifically, I'm referring to this female soldier that has said that there's no way this would have happened on anyone's watch because of the time that we live in, 2023. It's advanced. There's no way this would have happened, and yet it did. And so a lot of these questions being raised. And so I again, the main takeaway from this part for the Israel-Palestine is that let it work itself out. See what people are saying, right? Don't think that just because people are taking a certain side or doing something means that they're a good guy or a bad guy. Just like with Ukraine, there might be things we don't know about in regards to whether it's right biological labs, whether it's trafficking, whether it's money laundering, other things that they're trying to hide, or money laundering, flushing more money into this place. Something else is going on that is not just from what we see at surface level. And so again, let it play out. Let people bring out what may be potentially conspiracy theory, what may be potentially factual based on evidence that people may not believe. It's hearsay in some sense, right? So all of these other things, like for example, all the babies that apparently were beheaded, instead of just believing it right away, think about where it comes from. It's coming from a biased source, right? And I'm not saying it's not true, right? The Israeli police, they're the only ones, they didn't take pictures. They're not going to upload that. Maybe they did, and I haven't seen it. But they're saying this. And think about it. How do you mobilize the world to come onto your side? How do you make it so that you galvanize the people? You reduce certain footages, right? The atrocities. And again, there's atrocities going on with civilian lives being lost, even with the bombings in Gaza right now. And yes, that doesn't justify and that doesn't negate what happened with the festival. But I'm saying that as news, as emphasis is being put on certain things, be very cautious. Because remember, God wants us to rise above in this time, to be smarter, to be more discerning, and to have a rational, reasonable mind. You don't want to be swayed by emotions, by fear, by the majority group galvanizing because you want retribution and justice and these things. You have to think bigger than this. And so people have been taking sides. People have been supporting. And the biggest thing you can do is to support peace and desire that there would be no loss of life. And if there is some justifiable loss of life, what does that mean for the quote unquote greater good of vindicating and cleaning out what may be evil in society today, similar to what are purportedly the crimes in Ukraine that Russia was trying to clean out, and stopping what would be the next big, terror attack or bioweapon, the next COVID or whatever it may be. And so again, I'm saying to question what's happening right now. If you have a smart mind, this is what you would be doing. You wouldn't have prejudice. You wouldn't be taking sides. You wouldn't be linear in your thought process, but you would question a lot of these things. Now, I want to say another thing. I've talked about Red October. A lot of people talking about Red October. And already in 10, 11 days, there's so many things that have happened. Now, I read this post from Shadow of Ezra on Twitter, and it gives a good recap because things are absolutely heating up. And if you don't look at each one of these lines as being significant and what may be deeper beyond what this whole narrative war is, this whole aspect of control for this final push that we are in with regards to the final battle, then you are being misled and you don't realize the gravity of the entire situation that we are in. So October 2nd, United States Supreme Court rejects challenge to block Trump from 2024 ballot. October 2nd, North Dakota State Senator Doug Larson, his wife and 2 kids killed in Utah plane crash. October 2nd, massive human trafficking crackdowns in Ohio takes 160 predators off the streets. October 3rd, new Florida law allowing the death penalty for adults who rape children under 12 goes into effect. October 3rd, Kevin McCarthy removed as Speaker of the House. October 4th, Kevin Spacey is rushed to hospital fearing heart attack. October 4th, FEMA and the FCC conduct a nationwide emergency alert test on all cell phones, wireless devices, radios, and TVs. October 4th, Russia tests their own national warning system on the same day FEMA tested America's emergency alert system. October 4th, several schoolgirls in Kenya hospitalized over mysterious illness. October 4th, former NYPD union boss and attorney Roy T. Richter was found dead by suicide at his Westchester home on his wife's birthday after serving for 33 years. He had access to Hillary Clinton and Anthony Weiner's laptop. October 5th, Putin announces that he and his allies are building a new world. October 5th, U.S. warplane shoots down Turkish drone over Syria. October 5th, SEC sues Elon Musk to force him to testify in agency's probe of Twitter purchase. October 5th, Iraq bans all cash withdrawals in U.S. dollars. October 5th, Donald Trump endorses Jim Jordan for Speaker of the House. October 7th, coordinated terrorist attacks take place against Israel. Israeli intelligence stands down. October 7th, Israel declares a state of war. October 7th, the world is hit by a triple earthquake as a 6.7 quake hit Papua New Guinea. Mexico endured a 6.3 shock, and Afghanistan suffered strong tremors leading to, I think, several thousands of deaths, 2,400 or higher, way higher now, probably. October 7th, Israeli National Security Council approves ground operations to begin in the Gaza Strip. Israel begins to bomb Gaza. October 8th, Israel's Security Cabinet voted to invoke Article 40 Aleph, an official declaration of war for the first time since Yom Kippur War, which was 50 years ago. October 8th, U.S. military plans to move U.S. Navy ships and U.S. military aircraft closer to Israel as a sign or show of support. October 9th, Israeli minister ordered to immediately cut off water supply from Israel to Gaza. October 9th, Kevin McCarthy labels Iran, Russia, and China as the new axis of evil. October 9th, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. officially drops out of the Democratic primary and declares independent candidacy for president. October 9th, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, states he will stand by the Palestinians. October 9th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham suggests U.S. start bombing Iran. October 9th, Palestine President Mahmoud Abbas announces plans to visit Russia and meet with Vladimir Putin. October 9th, Joe Biden interviewed by special counsel Robert Hur as part of classified documents probe. October 9th, Times of Israel reports that Egypt intelligence official said Israel ignored repeated warnings of something big 3 days before the attack by Hamas. October 10th, blackouts in Gaza. October 10th, Russia suggests they may join the Israel-Hamas war. October 10th, Putin says Israel-Gaza conflict shows failure of U.S. Middle East policy. October 10th, Pentagon does not rule out a special operation to rescue American citizens in Gaza. October 10th, Israeli propaganda networks get caught spreading multiple fake stories about the war. October 10th, Turkish President Erdogan accuses the United States of planning to carry out a massacre in Gaza by sending aircraft carrier groups to Israel. October 10th, U.S. Congress introduces a bipartisan bill which would give $2 billion in aid to Israel. Still 21 days to go, and then a November to remember. Remember, don't look at somebody just because they're siding with this or that. There's something else that's deeper that needs to be uncovered. And as more truthers are coming out, doing their due diligence and digging up stuff, we're going to see more. We're going to see, and people will wake up to the bigger agenda that's going on and how we need to clean house. God is cleaning house. That involves the Israelis, that involves the Palestinians, that involves every nation on earth, because people need to come to know the Lord in this time. Now, again, take hope, because it's building up to a World War III type of scare event. And even Q says it's necessary. And so if this is what it takes for you to wake up, and again, I haven't even talked about domestic things, the border crisis. Trump has been right this whole time. Think about what's happening. It's a massive, massive crisis. People are being sent, and you can look this up on your own, even on YouTube. People, UN soldiers, are being sent to certain cities. You see people interviewing, all these guys coming out across the border. Millions of people I've already come across, and they're saying, I have to go to Louisiana. I've got to go to California. I'm going to New York. I'm going to New Jersey. They're being sent for a reason. Be very careful. Be very cautious. Prepare yourself. It could come to the States. I've talked about this before. Get yourself ready. Protect yourself. If you even want to argue that the Second Amendment is necessary, you see what's happening in Israel. Get yourself ready. Have food, have some money, some cash on hand, and just prepare as things get a little bit rough. October has only been a quarter or a third done, and we're seeing all of this. What is going to happen for the rest of this year? Keep praying, seek the Lord during this time. God bless you guys. Love you guys. Talk to you guys very soon.